Right now, a lot of people are talking about the polls in this election. How much do you believe in the polling system? Do you think that there's a good accuracy in the polling system? How much weight do you put into it?
Oh, I think polls have been notoriously inaccurate. We've seen this. The last BC provincial election is one example of that. The Alberta election as well, which didn't foresee an NDP majority government, was held in May. So I think polling companies, we've got a few large media corporations that like to push the idea of polls, but the reality is ultimately it's up to Canadians to decide. And one thing, getting back to younger voters, that's so fundamentally important is younger voters tend to be extraordinarily largely underrepresented in those polling numbers. So when young people get out to vote, it makes a huge difference, and it throws the polls out the window.
Well, it's true. Like, is the polls still mainly through home telephones? Is that?
They use a variety of techniques, but youth are always sorely underrepresented. And the reality is, in the last election in 2011, if the 2 million missing voters under 25 had shown up to vote, Jack Layton would have become Prime Minister and not Stephen Harper.
Absolutely.
And that is the weight that 2 million younger voters can have in our electoral system.
So let's say we flash forward and tragically the Conservatives win, but with a minority government. There's all this talk of coalition, and what is the talk lately between the parties, especially now that the Liberals are pulling higher? Whether that's true or not is a different story. What does it look like in a minority government situation where the Conservatives win?
Well, we've said all along we don't intend to have Stephen Harper govern for one more day, and we've proposed coalitions in the past. We certainly did back in 2006 and 2007, 2008. The Liberals have always refused, but ultimately it's up to voters to decide what the composition of the House of Commons is. But ultimately, Canadians will elect that Parliament, and we have said we are not going to be supporting Stephen Harper. That's very clear, and I think the Liberals will have to make that decision about whether or not they're going to support Mr. Harper before Election Day, because I think Canadians want to know.